All right. Who is ready for day 2 of mindful living? We had a great time and some really great exercise that we were able to practice yesterday. So, hello, welcome back. We are in our mindful living series. I am Leanne, your host for this week, and we have this mindful living series every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, all the way through Saturday. So I believe that is April 2nd. So buckle in, be here for the duration. You are not going to want to miss any of this. This is actually an amazing, mindfulness is the foundation of anything that you want to do with dealing with your authentic self, living your most authentic life, and living your most expansive life. Because for many of us, we are on, hey Jody, hey Cindy, hey Stacy. Hello, Kay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So, as I was saying, I know I get distracted, right? That's not very mindful, but I love to be able to connect with you guys. So, but yeah, for many of us, we're on autopilot. So, we're not even questioning, what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're moving through our lives, what we believe, what we don't believe, what beliefs were created by society, and which ones do we want to challenge, right? So mindfulness is truly this foundation of being able to live your most outrageous, out loud, authentic life, whatever that big vision is. It is also the creator, it helps to create the most authentic leaders and trailblazers. So that inner awareness, that is definitely a characteristic of a trailblazer, of a female, I want to say female leader, but an authentic leader. I read about that in the Harvard Business School there, anyways, we won't get into all that, but just so you know, mindfulness is very essential in life if you want to create a multitude of joy, just expansion, and living your best life. And we are going to go into that. So, who is excited to dive into why, or like what the goals are of mindfulness and the benefits? So I'll tell you a little story. And before I do, don't forget, we do have a workbook to go along with this. If you need the workbook, please put it in the comments, need workbook. Kay will send it over to you. I saw it in some of the replays. People were asking, so I sent those over to you this morning. I just forgot to let you know in the comments, but whoever asked for the workbook yesterday, I got that over to you. Check out your direct messages and it will be there for you. So if you want that workbook to go along with this whole week, then definitely let us know. We have that for you. So let's actually, I want to ask you guys, and for those of you who are watching the replay, how much of your time do you think you spend on autopilot? So this is just like moving through your day. This is not being totally aware or stopping to take that moment to get curious about why you're doing what you're doing. Just put it in the comments. There is no shame here. You need the workbook, Stacy, we'll get that over to you. So, and for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you put in the comments. We'll get that over to you too somehow. So, but yeah, how much of your life do you think, or how much of your day do you think you spend on autopilot with, just going through the motions? There's no shame here. It's just about awareness. It's about curiosity. We're getting curious about, how often are we aware and cognizant of what we're doing and why? So and I don't even know the statistics. This would be a great statistic to find out, and I can put it in the comments later today, because I don't know. I don't know how often we are, or what the percentages of how often we are on autopilot. So I'm going to guess, I would say probably 90%, not even joking. Because when you think about, the statistics that I've read about just how aware we are of our thoughts, and it's, we're only aware of 10% of our thoughts. So, and yesterday we talked about how we can have anywhere from like 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. Lots of research, it's all varying. So anyways, being able to just be aware and get curious about what that is for you. Hey, Nat, welcome. So we went over, if you missed yesterday, we did go over what mindfulness is, what it isn't, the difference between mindfulness and meditation. Meditation is a great tool to help us become more mindful and just being able to identify. I mean, the mindfulness is used so I don't know, like flowingly nowadays. It's just, you hear it all over the place. So I think it's really important to really identify what it is for you, what it is in general, how that differs from all the visualization, the meditation, and mindfulness, and how all of those differ from each other, so that you really have a grasp on what we're doing here. So what we are doing is increasing our mindfulness. If you missed yesterday, go back and watch yesterday's for the definition. And I would love to know too, do you have anybody that, I mentioned a couple of the gurus that I follow. Do you have any gurus of mindfulness or meditation that you just love? Put it in the comments if you do. It's always nice to share our resources with each other. I have so many books. Michael Singer is one of my favorite. If you ever want to read The Untethered Soul or The Surrender Experiment, those are two of my favorite books. There's so many though. There's so many amazing gurus out there, amazing mindful and meditation teachers. So I'd love to know what your guys are. So put it in the comments, we'll share resources. So let's dive into mindfulness and what the goals are. We hit on some of the goals yesterday. And when I was talking about being in the present moment, that is mindfulness, being fully present, being completely connected to what you're doing, why you're doing it, right? We talk about the intention, being very intentional, taking yourself off of autopilot so you can be intentional. So let's look at how being present and the importance of that. So I had said a quote yesterday. It's like, if you have one foot in yesterday and one foot in tomorrow, you're pissing all over today. And it truly is. We're not present. We're not fully taking in everything around us. And when we are able to do that, we have so much more joy in life. And again, that goes into some of the benefits. But I remember one of the first times that I was practicing outside. I actually took a group. I taught mindfulness in a treatment center, and it was an 8-week course, and it was for doctors and lawyers and pilots and high professionals. And it was so funny. And this ties into, I know that I'm sort of skipping ahead to the benefits, but this ties into one of the doctors. I was petrified when I first started doing this, but and then I just like, wait a minute, but we're all in this together learning something. And that's what I want you to come to every single mindful living series, that every single day is like, we're all in this together, learning from each other, and just creating a better world than it was yesterday, a better me than I was yesterday. So hey, Kelly. So one of the doctors was, he never told me throughout the entire 8 weeks. And it was like a couple times, I think it was 3 times a week for 8 weeks. So you guys truly are getting this crash course. But being able to, he would take his blood pressure before and after he would come to the class, because he thought it was a bunch of bullshit. He did not believe that it could have that significant of an impact on him, physically, emotionally, any of that. So at the end of the 8 weeks, he actually told the whole class, he's like, I have a confession to make. I have been testing this theory and these statements that this is going to better my life. And I have to say that every time I left this class, my blood pressure was significantly lower. So just a little bit of the benefits of mindfulness. But what I was really going to talk about too was the joy that it brings and the awe that this beautiful beginner's mind that we go back to when we are in this state of mindfulness, where everything is new to us. And this is actually a skill. Beginner's mind is a skill of mindfulness. And I remember taking my class outside, and there was like this little garden in the middle of, this section. And the point of being out there was to take it all in with your eyes, your ears, your touch, your taste, like use all of your senses as we walk outside. Because how often do you walk right past a garden? How often do you just, walk past bushes? Just, you're looking at your final destination. And does that resonate with anybody? Put a yes in the comments. Just focusing on that final destination. We're missing so much of today, right? And this goes into the goal of being present. So, I was engaging in the exercise as well. And I was looking through and I was touching all the different plants and stuff like that. And I bent over and I saw this itty bitty baby praying mantis. I had never seen a baby praying mantis. And that just brought me so much joy. I was like, holy crap, like there would be no way I would have seen that any other day. So being able to slow down and look at the abundance around us, that's why it increases our state of joy, is because we're recognizing what's truly around us. And this is so imperative during this time because there's a lot of shit going on. I am not ignorant to the fact that there's a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world today. And what I choose to do is choose to slow down and look at the abundance and to send my care and my heart, and my love and my support in any way that I can out to people that are suffering. So being able to really slow down and be present helps us to create that beginner's mind, seeing things with a new eye. Do you ever look at how little kids do this? And that's why, they call it beginner's mind, because these kids are not conditioned yet. These itty bitty babies. I remember my boys, I have twin boys that are 8, and they were playing it was probably when they were like 1.5, and they were following a grasshopper for like a good 30 minutes, just in complete awe. And I was like, I love that. That is what we want more of, right? So being present, again, linking it to one of the benefits of increased joy, lower blood pressure, right? Is that's one of the goals of mindfulness, is just to be fully present and fully engaged in what you're doing, whatever that is. So one of the goals. Another goal, we talked about this yesterday, is we want to be, it's not mindlessness. It's not having no thoughts. It's about being aware. Hey, Pallavi, I sent you a DM with the workbook. So I hope that you got it. So being aware of internal and external, right? We want to be aware of what's happening internally, what's happening within our body, within our emotions, within our, thoughts, and any tensions that we're holding on to, right? Anything like that, and the external. So it's both. It's not just one or the other, it's everything. So that's another goal of mindfulness. Another goal of mindfulness is to decrease mood-dependent behaviors. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Does anybody put a yes in the comments on this? Does anybody just mindlessly scroll through Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that? Okay, we do that as a way to shut off sometimes. Hey, Brenda, welcome. As a way to shut off sometimes. Or, okay, so this is something I tell people, like I ask people, I'm like, what are you addicted to? It's not, it's what? What are you addicted to? Are you addicted to shopping? Are you addicted to gambling? Are you addicted to cigarettes, caffeine? Working out? Are you, there are so many different forms of addiction, but all of those are mood dependent behaviors. We are trying to avoid feeling a certain thing, so we will pick up other things. Mindless scroller. Yes, Cassie. I know I have to catch myself. Because I can go down that rabbit hole too. And I have been doing this. Repeat the sentence about mood dependent. Mood dependent behaviors are those behaviors that we engage in order to avoid other emotions or the reality of situations or anything like that. So if I am feeling overwhelmed or something, I love shopping. This is something that I grew up with, the shopping, to make you feel that instant gratification. So if I am indulging in shopping, am I avoiding something, or do I really need these things? Or food is a big one for a lot of people. It's an immediate soother. It helps to shift your mood. You can adjust your mood anyway. with food, and this goes for substances too. So we want to decrease these mood dependent behaviors, because what are we doing? We want to increase our intention. We want to increase our ability to stay present with whatever we're trying to avoid, because we all know that if we try to avoid it and push it down, the shit just comes right back up in all sorts of directions, right? It comes out sideways, up, down, all over. It's a mess, shit show. All right. So we want to make sure that we stay focused and we do not engage in these mood dependent behaviors. We just allow the situation to be as it is. And we want to increase our time. Another goal for mindfulness is increasing our time spent in what DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, calls the wise mind, where we are connected with our emotions and we're connected with our rational thinking. Right? So it's this blend. We're not just in one or the other. We're not cut off from our emotions, and we're not completely, enveloped by emotions. We are very aware of what is happening. And this is also, mindfulness also helps us to connect spiritually, right? We are able to see more synchronicities, those God winks, what do I want to say? There's another word for it, but I can't remember what it is right now. But just being able to be completely connected. Imagine, just think about when you feel truly connected to a moment, to the earth, to, being outside or with yourself, feeling connected, that increases that spiritual connection, right? When we are connected, we are connected to something bigger than ourselves. So that's another goal of mindfulness. I would almost say that's a benefit of mindfulness. So looking at it from that aspect. So those are all the goals, but what are the benefits, right? And we've talked about, this is all about, you guys are in this group, the Next Level Life Purpose for Female Trailblazers, because you have big visions. You were meant to change the world. You were meant to create change. You were meant for, you have a big mission and you have a big vision. So being mindful is going to help you all along the way to you have a big vision. How do you get there, right? A lot of us can get lost along the way, get very scatterbrained. Mindfulness is a way to bring it back to, what am I doing today to reach my vision, to get to my, why do I have this vision, right? It helps us to remember our big whys too. And it's not just about having that futuristic, mindset. It's like, oh, I got to get here. It's just, I have this goal right now. What am I doing to align with that today? Am I, engaging in the behaviors that I need to? Am I not scrolling on Facebook and getting lost when I could be, connecting with other world changers, leaders, right? Anything like that. So that's how I wanted to tie it back to the Next Level Life Purpose for Female Trailblazers is, and our big mission and our vision. Mindfulness, again, foundation of everything. So top benefits, okay, other than helping you carry out your life's purpose, knowing who you are authentically at your core. I mean, those are big ones, but here are a couple other. So reducing rumination. Mindfulness has been known to reduce rumination, to stop. We did that exercise yesterday. And again, if you missed it, just go, it's right towards the end of that series, the training, where we're looking at our thoughts. And when we are aware of our thoughts, we can then choose. Once we gain an awareness of our thoughts, we can choose which thoughts we want to focus in on and which ones we want to just let go, right? That are no longer serving us. So it helps with the rumination. We don't go down that rabbit hole, that spiral. So there's one. Another one is stress reduction. Okay. When we are fully mindful of how we are engaging, and we are connected to our emotions, we are able to, again, choose different emotions that we want to have. This isn't about avoiding emotions, but it's just about the intensity too. So it's like, if I feel a lot of stress, I can use my breath. I know that I'm being, I'm stressed. We're not on autopilot anymore. We can feel the weight in our shoulders, the clenching teeth and things like that, because we're more mindful of it. We're more aware that we're doing it. We're more in tune with our body. And then we have specific tools to be able to release the stress. and bring it back to, because stress is usually caused from ruminating and from like spiraling out and worrying about like every single detail as if we have control over all the details anyway. I just get caught in hopelessness and depressed emotions, can't get out, right? So yes, absolutely. So when we look at that, that truly is, and this is what we're going to talk about. I'm glad, Pallavi, you're going to be in the 5-day workshop that starts on Monday, because we're going to take a deep dive into the conditioned self and how to align with the authentic self, because that's where a lot of depression comes in. So we will definitely talk about that. We'll take a deep dive into that actually. So with that, the stress reduction, we decrease with mindfulness. It has been shown to decrease anxiety, negative affect, and emotional reactivity, right? So we're not just like reacting, we're responding. We're not just like allowing our emotions to overcome us and react from that way. But it's more, I always say it's responding versus reaction, right? The reaction comes from a very fear-based, again, we'll get into a lot of this next week in the 5 days to align with your next level life purpose workshop. But yeah, that really, the emotional reactivity comes from a place of fear and defensiveness and things like that, where when we're mindful, we can really truly be aware. It's like, okay, I'm really, really not in immediate danger. So let me just pull back and let me, choose how I want to respond to this. It has been amazing for my marriage, let me just tell you. So and then another thing, that goes right into the other, the last benefit is increase in your positive connection within relationships. So it increases relationship satisfaction, because when we are mindful, right, when we're responding versus reacting, when we recognize that something within us has gotten triggered, we can effectively respond instead of reacting and hurting, because that's where we end up hurting each other. So we have this ability to respond well to relationship stress. And we also increase our communication skills, because we're mindful of what we're thinking. We're mindful of what's coming out of our mouth. So these are all the benefits of mindfulness. So I want to end on a mindful exercise. And yesterday we did an exercise that helped us to engage and be aware of our thoughts. Today, we're actually, because this mindfulness is about external and internal, we are actually going to start from the outside. So again, if you're just hopping on, if you need the workbook, just let us know. Put workbook, please, in the comments, and we'll make sure that you get that. So let's settle in. When I talk about settling in too, I have to remember that some of us are, we're at different stages of knowing what meditation, mindfulness, visual imagery is. So when I say settle in, it's usually, if you're first starting out, it's really good to have to be sitting in a chair with your feet on the floor. And you want to make sure that your back is in, a straight line, so that you have your chest opened up, right? We don't want to be hunching down like this. We want to be in this as aligned as possible, straight up, because that leaves our lungs open for free and clear breathing. And remember from yesterday, we do belly breathing. So again, putting your hands on your stomach to make sure that your breath is going down into your belly. And we are just going to do nose breathing, because this allows us to slow our breathing down just naturally. So just taking a few deep breaths in here. And what we're going to do is actually focus on our sense of hearing. So closing your eyes if you can, if you're in a space where you can. If you're driving or walking, definitely don't close your eyes. We want you to be safe. So closing your eyes if you can, just taking a few deep breaths into your belly, allowing yourself to just be fully present, to allow your mind to be exactly where your butt is. And just expanding, I want you to focus on your sense of hearing and try to expand it out as far as possible. So outside of the room that you're in, or the car, wherever you are, just like putting it, extending your sense of hearing outside, furthest away that you possibly can. And just notice, just observe the sounds. Notice if you have any judgments about the sounds. And when you do, you can just recognize that you had a judgment and just release it. Remember, we don't have to stick to any of the thoughts that we have. We don't have to cling to any. We just want to observe with an open mind. So getting curious about what those noises signify, how they make you feel. Just spending a few moments here. And again, when you find your mind sort of drifting away, as I'm sure it already has, be gentle with yourself, be compassionate. Just bring your attention back to listening to the noises outside of the room, like as far away as you possibly can reach. And now just bringing it in a little bit further. So maybe just noticing the sounds that are just outside of the room that you're in. Again, when your mind wanders, just gently bring it back. If you need help bringing it back, it's helpful to just focus in on your breath first and then return to your sense of hearing. And now bringing your focus and attention even closer into the room around you, the room that you're sitting in, the space that you're sitting in. Noticing any of the sounds. And again, if you notice any judgments coming up, it's okay. Just be aware of them and release them with your breath. You might have judgments of yourself, of the noises around you, of me, of this activity. It's okay. Just be aware and release. Choose to release the judgments. Now bringing it even further into listening to any sounds that might be happening within your body. Again, when you find your mind wandering, just gently and lovingly bring it back, focusing on the sounds within your body, releasing any judgments, just allowing yourself to be. Just take another deep breath in. Slowly bringing your attention back to the room, tapping your feet on the ground, rubbing the tops of your thighs. Giving yourself a big hug and a stretch if you need to stretch. So that concludes day 2 of mindful living, where we just reviewed the goals of mindful living. The day 2 series of mindful living included the goals, the benefits, and the importance, how this is going to help you actually become the best version of yourself, whatever that may be. So, one word to describe how you are feeling. Hey, Candy Ray, what's going on, girl? One feeling or one word to describe. Oh, you're welcome, Pallavi. Workbook, please. You got it, Cassie. Okay, I'll send that right over to you. So, my hope for you is calmer, good, is that you will take this. Don't just leave it here, relaxed, beautiful. Don't just leave it here. Take this with you throughout the day to practice throughout the day. Sit outside. All you need is like 3 minutes. That's where we started. That's where I started. Oh, I just missed it. What one thing shall I do to keep myself in the present? Always come back to your breath. That's one thing I can tell you, right? Be aware of how you're breathing. Most of the time we're breathing in our chest. That is actually not very helpful, beneficial, or relaxing. So if you notice when you just pause throughout the day, right? You might want to set a timer. I know that some of the Apple Watches, they actually have like breathe, stuff like that, but you might want to just, set moments for yourself to just 3 minutes, you guys, to just check in with yourself. How am I doing? What's going on? We can always bring it back to our breath. Our breath is our anchor, our best friend. It is, with us until the day our physical body no longer exists on this planet. So that is one thing that you can do, and practice this, right? Practice this, just listening, closing your eyes, listening to the world around you. And the other part is too, how is it making you feel? What are the judgments? You might have heard me say that. What are some judgments that you're having? It's okay. Just let them go. That's the intention. Your mind is wandering. That's okay. Bring it back, and bringing it back to our breath helps us to center. Also, another wonderful way to be mindful, if you're able to, take off your shoes and go outside, ground to the earth. So can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm trying to remember what we are going over tomorrow. So let me just see really quick. We are going to talk about the 3 elements of mindfulness. So I will see you here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I am so excited to continue this journey with you. I know that mindfulness has changed my life in so many ways, as I've been practicing it for almost 16 years. So I'm so honored and excited to be able to bring it to you. So sending so much light and love. Mwah.